are some things you would say, given the opportunity, and in November you get selected? We know that, getting in, go through the induction process pretty much January of 2024. What are, like, I guess I would say, one or two things you would want to see get tackled as a first term mayor here in North Charleston, South Carolina, your humble opinion?
Again, we would want to see equity. That will take place immediately. We feel that the citizens in North Charleston, all citizens in North Charleston um, are what's the word I'm looking for? They're are entitled to equity, and which is simply making sure that citizens get the source resources and services that all citizens are entitled to get. Again, it's about strengthening communities. It's about investing in education and job training. It's about implementing and speaking to the areas that haven't been spoken to, such as Liberty Hill and Days Hill and Ferndale and the Waylands, areas that where there's not proper recreational services there, where there are pockets and playgrounds where people are concerned about senior citizens, where people are still sleeping on the street. Some of these things we want to address immediately. We feel that we can do that when the opportunity is given to us. And that's what we'll be looking at our first 100 days in office. We want to look at where the city is financially. We want to look at things that we can put into place immediately. We want to look at improving economic development in the city of North Charleston, which requires a multifaceted approach that focuses on attracting businesses and supporting local procurement. We want to look at business friendly policies, infrastructure development, investing in infrastructure projects such as transportation networks. We feel that there needs to be a better transportation system. Utilities and broadband connectivity, if there's issues in some areas, can enhance the city's attractiveness to businesses and making it easier for them to operate and thrive. Workforce development is big with me. Collaborating with educational institutions and vocational training is important as well. These are the things that we will look at immediately.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.
And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and I thank y'all watching for another unique episode here at the Logan Power Show. As you know, we've been covering the race when it comes to our mayor debate race. As you can see, I am ready. I'm focused of what is about to happen. As you can see, we're going in and out of making some things happen here. So I want you to keep it locked, keep it focused here at the Logan Power Show. So without further ado, we got another returning guest here at the Logan Power Show. She's putting her name in the hat because she wants to get involved, make a difference in the community. She's looking to be the first woman ever selected to be mayor of North Charleston, South Carolina. And she's looking to make a difference. The very only Dr. Stephanie Ganaway-Pasley. How you doing, Doctor?
Doing wonderful. Thank you. And I appreciate you inviting me on the show. Glad to see you again.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to have you here. Want to talk about for yourself. I know that we're roughly about 3 months away from the big day of the people of North Charleston, South Carolina, making a difference. And there have been so many different variables of people coming in. People are pivoting, coming into the race. What led your heart to say, I believe that I have a voice and I can make a difference?
Well, first of all, I have been a lifelong resident of North Charleston for over 45 years, actually. And some citizens in North Charleston came to me and asked me to run. Contemplated it, prayed about it, and talked to one of the most wisest men that I know on earth that is living, which is my father, who's 90 years old. So after much thought and consideration with family and friends and my father, I decided to move forward. There are certain areas of North Charleston that has looked the same since I've been in North Charleston. Certain areas have changed, and there are certain areas that look the same. So with my campaign and serving the city of North Charleston as a judge on the bench for over 12 years, actually, I served Charleston County, but I was housed in North Charleston. We just feel that we have a plan that we can implement to bring the city together, looking at reducing crime and poverty in the city of North Charleston. North Charleston is the third largest city in the state of South Carolina, soon to be and moving forward to being the second largest city in the state of South Carolina. It is a world-class city. In order for it to be a true world-class city, it needs to be doing world-class things. I am sensitive when it comes to poverty and crime and mental health. As you know, my PhD is in psychology. So our campaign will look at reducing crime and poverty in the city of North Charleston. And we realize that this takes a comprehensive approach that involves various strategies and collaboration among the many stakeholders. We want to strengthen the community with police relations, encouraging community engagement programs, fostering trust, and promoting transparency between law enforcement agencies and residents can certainly help reduce crimes. We believe that when citizens trust police officers and feel comfortable talking to them and they collaborate together, it can reduce crime. We want to make sure that the police officers have all the resources that they need, training that they need to serve the citizens in North Charleston professionally and legally. We know that police officers are trained to eliminate threats, but what we want to do is train police officers that all threats don't need to be eliminated. Sometimes they need to be de-escalated, and that's where we will make sure that there's some training in mental health as well. So when implementing targeted crime prevention initiatives, we know where the high crime areas are, and we want to implement targeted interventions such as increased police presence, police back on foot again, back on bike again, surveillance systems, and community-based programs can certainly help deter criminal activities. I'm an educator, so I'm big on investing in education and job training. Enhancing access to quality education and vocational training programs can also empower individuals to acquire skills and secure better employment opportunities, ultimately reduces poverty and crime. So, and I also believe that promoting economic development, attracting businesses, supporting local entrepreneurship, and creating job opportunities can stimulate economic growth and reduce unemployment and alleviate poverty.
Absolutely. I think you speak for yourself, a plethora of different type of strategies that you want to tackle, and you gave definitely some lengthy experiences that you have that does have a lot of value, that does play a big part in making North Charleston very strong and financially, but also strong health wise. You mentioned focus on mental illness and being on a judge and seeing how the actual judicial system is sort of has its ebbs and flows. Because you have been in this particular judicial system for over a decade, and you've seen things from a lens from a judge's seat and not just a lawyer's seat, or just in particular just watching from a spectator, but you're actually in the actual fight. What are some things I guess you would say that you would want to see done from a legal side? It's sort of like you mentioned crime coming down, but sometimes you see people repeat offenders getting baited back in numerous times, and it's become sort of like a prison to pipeline system when it comes to our education and kids, what are some things you would want to see change since you have definitely experience in the judicial system, in your humble opinion?
In my humble opinion, again, when it comes to mental health and crime, I believe in forensic psychology. I want to know not only who committed the crime, but I want to know why that person committed the crime and what led to it, which I think can certainly eliminate or prevent some activities in the future. When you talk about forensic psychology, that's the field that applies psychological principles and knowledge to the legal and criminal justice system. So it involves the study of human behavior, the study of why people think the way that they think, and mental processes as they relate to crime, as it relates to criminal behavior and the legal process. So having a forensic psychologist and a true forensic department plays a key role in understanding criminal behavior. When you have someone, when you're looking at criminal profiling, you're looking at what caused that person to behave the way that he or she behaved, what caused that person to commit the crime that he or she committed. A forensic psychologist can assist in creating profiles of unknown offenders, based on a crime scene analysis, victimology, and psychological characteristics. So this can aid law enforcement agencies in narrowing down suspects and developing investigative strategies, which I think is important. I think that competency evaluations, like a forensic psychology or the forensic department, assesses an individual mental competency, whether or not they're able to stand trial. Do they understand what they did? Determine if they have the ability to understand the legal proceedings. Do they understand why they committed the crime that they committed? What can we do to keep someone from committing a crime like that again? So when we look at mental health and crime, research suggests that individuals with mental health issues are more likely to come in contact with the criminal justice system. However, it's important to note that the majority of people with mental health conditions are not involved in criminal activities, but those who are, we need to pay attention and focus our attention on it. I go back to police training. Adequate training for law enforcement officers is crucial in effectively responding to situations involving individuals with mental health challenges. I think specialized training programs can help officers develop skills in de-escalation techniques, skills in crisis intervention, and recognizing signs of mental distress. So I believe in establishing a task force that will be made up of a crisis intervention team. These are programs that will collaborate between law enforcement, mental health professionals and community stakeholders, where the program will aim to provide police officers with necessary tools and knowledge to respond appropriately, professionally, and legally to mental health crisis, how to divert individuals to appropriate mental health services and reduce the likelihood of unnecessary arrests and deaths as well.
Absolutely.
I believe in community involvement. So we're strong with community partnership, hearing from the community, building strong partnership between law enforcement agencies and mental health service providers can enhance the overall response to mental health related incidents. So collaborative efforts can include, joint training exercises, information sharing, and establishing referral pathways to connect individuals in crisis with appropriate support services.
Right. And big question here. You mentioned, for instance, a lot of more law enforcement on the ground, better training, better adequate training in regards to certain things that may not have been given throughout. The big question some people are going to say is, where's that money coming from? Because you see all you see right now, law enforcement is not, you would say, as fully staffed as it should be. You see a reduction when it comes to education, but we know as a mayor, something that can be controlled is law enforcement and the growth of law enforcement. So are you saying that you're going to have a huge hiring when it comes to law enforcement and raising of their pay as a possibility?
What I'm saying is that we're going to look at the budget and see how the monies is dispersed. As you know, a budget is simply a numerical representation of what's important to those who are in charge of it. Increase in funding for law enforcement can be an approach to address crime-related challenges in the city. But it's important to note that effectiveness of this strategy may very well depend on specific circumstances and the needs of the community. And that's what we'll do. We're going to assess the community needs, conducting a thorough assessment of community needs, looking at specific crime, neighborhoods, challenges. We'll look at evaluating the existing resources that's already in place before allocating for more funds, because it is essential to evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of current law enforcement practices and resources. So this type of assessment can identify any potential gap or areas for improvement. We want to explore alternative approaches. While increasing law enforcement funding can be beneficial, it is also important to consider complementary strategies such as community policing, crime prevention programs, and social services. So a balanced approach that addresses root causes and focuses on preventative or prevention can yield better long-term results. Going back to collaboration again, collaboration and partnerships. As a mayor, I want to be able to explore partnerships with community organizations, nonprofits, and other government agencies to leverage resources and expertise. Collaborative efforts can enhance the effectiveness of law enforcement initiative and promote community engagement. I'm having a doctorate in psychology, I've done a lot of research. So I'm a data-driven person. So data-driven decision-making is big with me. I like to utilize data and evidence-based practices that can help inform resource allocation decisions, analyzing crime trends, conducting research, and evaluating the impact of interventions can guide me as a mayor in making informed choices about funding priorities.
Amen. Final question. People have an agenda of what they want to accomplish, how they want to get stuff done. We know that as this particular mayoral race as is currently in effect, history can be made in all different type of ways. First African American mayor could happen. First woman mayor could happen. First woman and African American could win the actual nomination and win the entire thing as well. So a lot of history could be made. So when it comes to history and when it comes to what needs to be accomplished, what are some things you would say, given the opportunity, and in November you get selected? We know that, getting in, go through the induction process pretty much January of 2024. What are, like, I guess I would say, one or two things you would want to see get tackled as a first term mayor here in North Charleston, South Carolina, your humble opinion?
Again, we would want to see equity. That will take place immediately. We feel that the citizens in North Charleston, all citizens in North Charleston what's the word I'm looking for? They're entitled to equity, and which is simply making sure that citizens get the source resources and services that all citizens are entitled to get. Again, it's about strengthening communities. It's about investing in education and job training. It's about implementing and speaking to the areas that haven't been spoken to, such as Liberty Hill and Days Hill and Ferndale and the Waylands, areas that where there's not proper recreational services there, where there are pockets and playgrounds where where people are concerned about senior citizens, where people are still sleeping on the street. Some of these things we want to address immediately. We feel that we can do that when the opportunity is given to us. And that's what we'll be looking at our first 100 days in office. We want to look at where the city is financially. We want to look at things that we can put into place immediately. We want to look at improving economic development in the city of North Charleston, which requires a multifaceted approach that focuses on attracting businesses and supporting local procurement. We want to look at business friendly policies, infrastructure development, investing in infrastructure projects such as transportation networks. We feel that there needs to be a better transportation system. Utilities and broadband connectivity, if there's issues in some areas, can enhance the city's attractiveness to businesses and making it easier for them to operate and thrive. Workforce development is big with me. Collaborating with educational institutions and vocational training is important as well. These are the things that we will look at immediately.
Absolutely. And you heard it first live at the Logan Power Show, the very only Dr. Stephanie Ganaway-Pasley live at the Logan Power Show, talking about why she has the credentials and on top of that has the experience, and then also laying out a game plan that she feels that is going to be imperative to make North Charleston, South Carolina not only strong, but healthy. So you all know, folks, take this time, eat it, dissect what's been given, make that decision. We know November's coming around the corner. We pray that this particular episode, not only did it bless your life, but it also showed you that, hey, we here at the Logan Power Show are ready to make a difference. So with all that being said, that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin, the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.